right, so we have Arturo Paiva joining us from Globodent to talk to us about his bleaching and home care products. Um, and Arturo, you're joining us from Houston, Texas. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. Actually, it's a small city, Katy. Well, not so small, but it's an outside city of Houston. So it's one of those outskirts. But yeah, very close to Houston.
And Arturo is the president and CEO of Globodent. If you go to Deals for Dentists, you'll find his promo, which is purchase one Bland Quest Pro in office five patient and get five patient whitening treatment kits, and you get one free whitening syringe with your purchase. Did I say that right?
Yes.
All right. So with a name like Globodent, I imagine you're global. Now, is how many countries are you in?
Currently, we're in over 30 countries already. For a fairly young company that we are, a little bit over 3 years, with our background being more of international business. We are pretty much well established when it comes to the Middle East, Europe, but we're starting to grow a little bit more when it comes to Latin America and Africa and Asia. So a little bit over 30 countries right now.
So is the U.S. a new market for you?
Yes. My, again, my background is more in international business. The same it was with the company that I worked with before. So our focus was initially developing that international market. Um, and now that that's more established, we're starting to focus more towards the US, starting to find some distribution channels here.
Okay. And now, where do you make your products? Because I saw you also have a connection with Miami. Is that where your manufacturing center is?
Our facilities are actually here in Houston, but we have offices that are more of a distribution office that is in Miami. That's for Latin America. We
Mm-hmm.
have a distribution office in um, Barcelona, which is more of in charge for the European market. And then we're also starting to establish an office in Dubai that'll be more of in charge of the Middle East. So as it grows, those are more of distribution channels that where it's we'll be able to serve our customers in those regions better.
Okay. Yeah, I went to Nova in Fort Lauderdale, so I know Miami well. I spent a lot of time down there and lost a lot of brain cells down there. So I know it well. So that's your Latin American distribution center. Otherwise,
Correct.
Houston is where you supply the U.S.
Yes,
Oh,
actually, it's our headquarters is here in Houston. That's where everything does leave from. It's our main office. So we store and storage everything here. This is where we develop the products, and then we will ship to those main offices in those locations. And then from those locations, we will ship to other sub distributors, or from here, this office in the U.S. will distribute to pretty much globally.
okay. So yeah, I tell my patients that bleaching is like sun tanning. Everyone's different. Some people they have no sensitivity. Other people have sensitivity. Some people get a shade whiter. Others get five shades whiter. Um, so everyone is just so different. Some people it lasts longer. Others it wears off quicker. Can you tell us about your products and for dentists out there how they can explain the bleaching process to patients?
Okay. When it comes to Globodent, we have a full range of dental products. Most popular ones will be the in-office, which is where the Blanquist Pro comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have a more traditional whitening, which is the tray whitening, and we have that in the Blanquist home. That the dentist does the trays for the patient, and they take it home for them to do it. And we also have more of a personal whitening, the Lux Sprite, which is a personal light with the teeth whitening. Uh, when we decided to put together Globodent, we understand that the market for teeth whitening has pretty much stayed the same for over a few years now, 10 years now. And there's been kind of a bad rep in some cases where people are, if the first thing you think of teeth whitening, you think, oh, how sensitive are my teeth going to be? How long is it going to take? How expensive is it going to be? So our approach has been taking care of those challenges with the dentists and the patients. So there's going to be great results with our competition. Our results are going to be just as good, if not better in some cases. But what we try to do is change that perception, because our teeth whitening is going to be a little bit faster. When it's a little bit faster, that minimizes the risk of sensitivity. So the procedure shouldn't be as a person should not be as afraid of sensitivity. We're not going to say there's no sensitivity at all, because really, as you mentioned, sensitivity can happen in many cases, but we try to minimize that risk with the procedure time, of course, the ingredients that we use. And of course, there's just other factors when it comes to pH balance or sciences. So all of those factors, we try to change that perception. But then again, there's also the cost factor. There are some competition that charge a lot for the procedure. We try to, now, of course, we don't want to be a cheap product, because all of this obviously does take a lot of investment when you do the research and the certifications and so forth. But we try to make it more affordable for everybody. And it comes in, by everybody, we mean, of course, the dentist, and of course the patient. That way, people have a different perception to teeth whitening, and dentists feel like, okay, we can offer teeth whitening more frequently. It should be more of a tool that can help to bring patients into their office.
Now, so can you go back to the sensitivity? We do the in-office bleaching in my office, and we do have a fair amount of sensitivity. It's I think we use opalescence, and it's, I believe, 15 or 20-minute applications, the boost. We do get some sensitivity, and it varies, but we do have patients that get sensitivity. So what causes the sensitivity? Do the patient's teeth get dehydrated? Is it the ingredients? And like you said, the length of time that the solution is on the teeth? What causes sensitivity?
A little bit of all those factors. First of all, the percentage, from what I understand, what you're using is going to be a little bit strong. I think it's in the 40% when it comes to the boost. So that's it's very strong, which will pretty much give the results you're looking for, but you're kind of giving up that strength for a higher risk of sensitivity. Mm-hmm. So that's one little factor. The other next factor is the 15 to 20 minutes that you're talking about. The longer the exposure of that gel to their teeth, that increases the factor a little bit more. So in our case with the Blanquist Pro, there's two options. If the dentist has already made an investment with a light, then they can use our kits with the light that they have on hand. They'll do 3 10-minute sessions if they have a light. Okay, so there you see there's going to be a much faster procedure already. Now, if the dentist doesn't have a light, they shouldn't have to invest in one. It's just the procedure is going to be longer. So instead of doing 3 10-minute sessions, it's going to be now 3 15-minute sessions. Now,
what does the light actually do for the bleach?
All it does is speeds up the process. It helps the oxidation process to be a little bit faster. It really doesn't do any of the whitening, which is why we don't really require somebody to have a light. It just slightly speeds up the process, the oxidation process that happens in the gel in your teeth. So that's why some will offer, some will not offer. Some are very strict about using it. I can see where it does make a difference, but we here at Globodent specifically, we are not going to require that you do one, although it does help in some cases. And then lastly, the factor that we take a lot of significance is the pH balance of the gel, that it stays very steady throughout the whole procedure. And it has to be slightly acidic, not too acidic, slightly acidic. That also helps when it comes to the sensitivity factor. And again, with our products, we try to minimize that. There's going to be some cases where there still be some sensitivity because some people have those cracks in their teeth or just their enamel just very thin. But at least there's more room to work with our products when it comes to that.
Now, is dehydration a factor? Does that cause sensitivity?
Yes, and there's going to be more dehydration when you're using a light.
Okay.
And the longer you have a light, there's going to be some products out there that you're using a light and the procedure is long. So you're using a light, dehydrating the teeth, plus exposing the gel to their teeth for 15, 20 minutes. That's a double mix that causes that sensitivity.
Do you recommend, for some patients, they tell me, oh, I have sensitive teeth, I'm worried about bleaching, so we tell them to use the 1.1% fluoride toothpaste for a couple weeks beforehand, and then after we give them a potassium nitrate solution after to help. I've even had some patients that have a rare, but I've even had to prescribe a narcotic for the extreme 24 to 48 hour sensitivity. Can you go into that a little bit?
Yes, those are certainly, you are welcome to do those recommendations. I certainly would encourage those same exact recommendations that you're talking about. With the Blanquist Pro, we include one syringe, which is potassium nitrate, actually. And what we do is in some of our cases, if the patient is afraid of sensitivity or they have had some cases of sensitivity in other procedures, to apply this to the teeth and just leave it on there for about 3 to 5 minutes before the procedure and after the procedure, and that'll help.
Mm-hmm.
Doing fluoride also will help, and of course, some pain medicine will help in those cases. But typically, for the most cases, potassium nitrate will be more than sufficient with our product, which is why we include it with the Blanquist Pro.
So do you do the gingival barrier, get them all set up, put the potassium nitrate on, rinse it off, put your solution on, and then at the end you're also doing another round of the potassium nitrate?
Only in those severe cases.
Okay.
But yes, in the procedures that you mentioned is actually the exact same outline that we do with our products. It's very simple. You do the gingival barrier, which is also included with the kit. There's 5 gingival barrier syringes included with the Blanquist Pro for 5 patients. So you'll do the gingival barrier, use a cure and light to cure. Then you can use the potassium nitrate. We would recommend to do it before for those, again, patients that have
Mm-hmm.
experience in sensitivity. And then you'll do the 3 sessions, whether it's 10 or 15 minutes if you're using a light. Um, with our gel, our syringes use 3 mLs per syringe. Typically, our competition will do 2.6. We want to include a little bit more in our gels because after doing some procedures, perhaps you need to work a little bit more on specific teeth that have a little
Mm-hmm.
bit more discoloration. So we'll include that. You'll be able to do that with the extra gels included. But you'll do the 3 sessions. Yeah, apply 10 minutes, suction, apply again, suction 10 minutes, and so forth. And then after they're done, you are certainly welcome to do the potassium nitrate again. And yes, the patient is ready to go.
So let's say someone's in the hygiene chair and the next patient had canceled, and the patient in the chair, because our chair time is so precious now, more than ever. So trying to be as productive as possible is so important. So let's just say the patient in the hygiene chair um, wants to stay for the bleaching. The next patient is canceled. We're doing 60-minute prophies now. Can you squeeze that in a 60-minute or 50-minute appointment? Whereas right now in my office, we have a whole separate operatory designated just for in-office bleaching on a specific day. So it's like Thursdays, we have an operatory, and it's not always full. Maybe there's 3 or 4 patients, sometimes 2. Um, so is this a way that dentists can be more productive and squeeze in more production by adding this into the schedule?
Yes, and there's a couple of factors that I'll give hints to. First of all, make sure that the whitening gels are refrigerated. The reason why I say that is because there's other products in the kit that shouldn't be, like the gingival barrier. The reason why I say that is that gingival barrier should not be refrigerated because that might be the thing that takes the longest in the procedure. So if you use a gingival barrier and it flows well out of the syringe and you do the whole application, the curing, that should take 5 minutes at the most. So if you already have the setup done, um, now again, this varies on your patient. So I say 10 to 15 minutes. If there's patients that already have fairly white teeth, there's no reason for you to do 15-minute sessions. You can do 10 minutes, 12 minutes, you kind of vary as you go. But if you're doing 3 10-minute sessions, you're looking at 30 minutes tops of going in and out with the actual procedure. And then the removal is fairly easy. So you're looking at 45 minutes at the most of the procedure in itself. Um, so yes, you should, and that's the whole idea. And to give a little comparison, we were in Dubai this February, right before the whole COVID, and we were doing live demonstrations. The trade show was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 8 hours each. So that's 24 hours total, 8, 8, and 8. In those 24 hours, we were able to do 30 patients. Now, that's not because we're doing 15, 15, 15. Everybody has their own specific needs, but we are able to fit 30 patients during that time. Those patients were, of course, distributors, dentists, students. So we all knew what they each had to accomplish, what we could accomplish. And they were all very, of course, satisfied. Out of those 30 cases, only 3 experienced sensitivity. And the sensitivity was not drastic to where they weren't able to complete it as in other cases, but it was still a fairly fast procedure, satisfying. And again, the longer the procedure is, the same thing with the patients thing. I mean, they're afraid of how long they have to sit with the cheek retractor open.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another comfort piece that we're adding to it. So just wanted to add that point at the end also about the comfort factor. But yeah, timing, it should be well accomplished in 15 minutes with our product.
Yeah, so now we've tried to create it so that the assistant or the hygienist never has to leave their operatory, so they're fully stocked for the day. So, I would imagine that it would be a good idea to have a kit in each operatory just in case that patient wants to do the bleaching treatment right then and there, so that you can get that extra production without having to reappoint the patient, because having that patient come back, and that's a more chair time. You got to set up, break down again, which is very costly these days. Arturo, can you go in kind of the difference with the in-office bleaching versus the home bleaching? Is the in-office like a deeper bleach versus the home bleach? Is the home bleach more superficial? Does it take longer to home bleach? Can you go into that?
Um, for me, for our experience that we've had, again, competing for many years in my company before and now in this one, home bleaching will be the most effective way to whiten. Um, but because of the time and the discipline of having to use home bleaching, it's kind of moving away from that towards the in office.
Mm-hmm.
In office will give the results. Those results will last a year or a year to two, depending on people's diets, and the cost is not being. Hopefully, the cost is not going to be as high. So in office is being more of the trend, but we offer the home option because it's just so traditional. There's a lot of dentists who just they'll do the tray. Perhaps they already used the mold for another reason, and they also use the syringes as a free whitening,
Mm-hmm.
to help bring patients into their facilities. So that's where the blankless home comes in. Um, there's again, it is for us, for my experience, the most effective way to whiten, because if you're doing the blankless home, you're doing 30 minutes a day for 10 to 14 days. So if you're exposing your teeth to that 6% hydrogen peroxide for that long, then it's going to really get those deeper stains for a long period of time. It's just difficult to have to the discipline factor of having a patient do that day after day for 10 days. So there's different options for that. You can, for people that will be able to do that, of course, blankless home is actually the best option. It's not as expensive. 30 minutes a day for 10 to 14 days, and they're set. The other option to use the home whitening is, okay, if the patient has done the in-office whitening, you can provide them one syringe of the home whitening, which we have right here. You can give them one syringe of the home whitening, and one syringe is going to be, well, it has 3 cc's.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be a great option to maintain the results that they got with the in-office. That way they're keeping that investment they made with the in-office. So if they've done the in-office, what we recommend is do one 30-minute session once a month, and that'll help to maintain those results for as long as they really want to, or how much the dentist himself maybe wants to sell them one syringe at a time to the
Mm-hmm.
patient. So there's a lot of options with the blankless home.
Yeah, I usually, when patients ask me what's the best way to do it, the in-office versus the home, I actually say the combination of the two is the best. Come in for the in-office, and then we'll make you some trays and maintain at home. With your system, do we have to make study models and suck down trays, traditional home trays? Is that the same
Correct.
process?
Yes, the Blancos Home will come with two EVA sheets, zero point 0.4 the millimeter thickness.
Hmm.
And yes, you'll have to make the mold, use the suction to vacuum it, into the shape of the teeth. And the kit itself, the Blancos Home, comes with 6 of these syringes. And the procedure again will be 30 minutes at a time.
So you supply the tray material that comes with the package. Um, so how does it work with patients that have some bad habits, like they smoke, they drink red wine, coffee, tea, they smoke weed? Please tell me weed doesn't affect this, right? Just please tell me that. Or dark chocolate. What kind of habits affect bleaching, and if they do those habits, should you tell them to stay away from those habits for a certain period of time to get the best results?
Okay. If they're doing the in-office whitening, they would need to avoid anything that you just mentioned for about 2 days. Okay, so you want to give them a heads up. Please avoid drinking coffee, smoking, for about 2 days. Now, of course, the maintenance factor is the bigger factor, and of course, these are things that that's part of their daily routine. So it's pretty much the way you want to tell them is anything that'll stain a white shirt is going to stain your teeth. So the more you do that, the more it's going to stain. But there's answers to that. There's way to maintain your teeth. Maintain the results you just obtained. But at the same time, once you've gotten the in-office bleaching, you want to get the most results out of the whitening you just got. Avoid any colored food, drinks, tobacco use for 2 days, 24 hours, 24 to 48 hours. And then gradually you can go back into it, but as long as you're maintaining with any home whitening kits or in some cases toothpaste, but I would sort of suggest more of the home whitening as has a stronger concentration to do the maintenance.
So I like how you said that anything that stains a white T-shirt, you should avoid for 2 days. Now I feel like with bleaching, patients will actually follow through with that. Whereas when I place implants, I tell them they shouldn't smoke. They probably light up a cigarette in the car on the ride home after the implants placed. But with white teeth, they probably will listen to me. Um, so how did you actually get involved with dentistry? How did you said you were involved with international business. How did you actually get involved with bleaching products and dentistry?
It's a odd story. My background's actually in mathematics, and very much of a introvert type of person. I just love math. My goal was to be that old algebra teacher in university teaching, but that was not going to provide a very strong future for my family. So I really, with the encouragement of my wife, she mentions like you need to really start looking into other options, and I went and got my MBA business. And then I joined another manufacturing company, dental company, seeing the opportunity because it was a fairly small company. So I saw that as an opportunity for me to grow within that field. And with the right mentorship in that company, I was able to learn everything inside out. I'm talking about products development, the international business part of it, along with, of course, with the schooling that I was able to obtain. And it was exciting. It was exciting to me, and I was able to learn it and seeing a company grow with itself until eventually it was time for me to move on. Once I moved on, I started helping other businesses because I developed a strong business background. I was helping other entrepreneurs start their own business. So helping them see going through those stages made me want to open my own business. So when I was getting that hunger, I just, I'm thinking, what should I open my business with? Well, since I just developed all this experience with dental products, let me see what I can look into. And I went to IDS in Germany, in Cologne,
Hmm. Hmm.
the largest one for the dental industry. And I studied around, and I ran into some old colleagues there, some old clients, and they just pretty much encouraged me that, I should really consider opening my own company. And sure enough, that's where Globodent comes in. And now that it's more of my own family business, Of course, I'm more. It's naturally to be more driven for
Hmm.
my own business. So that's pretty much the history of Global and how my background developed into this, and now we're in this for the long ride.
So your main focus is whitening or teeth bleaching. But you also have some home care products. I saw you have a sonic brush. Um, you also have a eco-friendly bamboo brush? Is that right?
Yes, yes. So it's more of a teeth whitening. We want to be able to offer dentists more of a fuller line, and again, we're a fairly young company, so we don't want to add too many UPCs to where we're not giving more focus on the things that we are good at. Teeth whitening is our main focus. And little by little, we're adding some oral care products that are going to be high quality. That includes the electric brush, our toothpaste, the bamboo brush, because my mentality is also going to be towards eco-friendly. So as as Globodent is more settled in, we're going to start developing further products. I want to bleed some eco-friendly products, but I also want to start doing some oral care products. Water flossers are going to be coming up soon. Um, but little by little, I'm going to start heading in that direction. But yeah, our main focus is teeth whitening, but we want to be able to be a complete solution for dentists and patients.
Now, with your brushes, do you offer the replacement heads, kind of like the Quip and the Burst? That's part of your marketing platform. That's been very popular. Um, yeah. Do you have any toothpastes as part of your products?
Yes, we have our blank crisp, and it's also a whitening toothpaste. It is our own formula, and it has some tea tree oil that has also
Hmm.
been proven to help with oral care and oral disease, with gum disease. So that's one of our additional products that we offer currently.
Just one more. I want to go back to the just the bleaching. So I have some patients that they're just obsessed with bleaching their teeth. Their teeth are like an OM1, yet they feel like they still need to bleach more. Um, is it safe for these patients to bleach that much, or if they overdo it, or they're not? Um, I guess going according to our recommendations, and they keep asking for more refills. What should we tell them?
Teeth whitening is about natural color, and we always tell our patients that teeth whitening will get your teeth as close to your natural color as possible, and we want to be able to determine what that color is. Um, yes, I certainly do see some cases where people just want to continue bleaching and continue to bleach more and more, but at some point there's that maximum level that they can reach, and in any type of procedure, doing more than it's needed, it really shouldn't be. They should be able to use that investment towards other things, towards their oral care. But when it comes to teeth whitening, it's important for them to know that it'll teeth whitening will get your tooth as close to your natural tooth color as possible, and you can certainly maintain it, but you shouldn't have to do the in-office whitenings on a monthly or bi-monthly case, because there's just not going to be that much improvement. It's just no room for there to do it. If you have, again, a white shirt, go back to that case, and you bleach it, and after a couple of months you keep bleaching it, what whiter are you going to get it from what it's already being bleached? It's just a maximum level you're going to get, and that's the same thing with your teeth. And of course, if you are over bleaching something, eventually yeah, there's a risk that you're going to cause some damage to their teeth. So there's a level for everything, and there's of course, you want to listen to the recommendations of your dentist. They know your teeth more, they've studied this for many years, so I would certainly listen to any recommendation that the dentist will provide regarding teeth and bleaching products.
Yeah, I find bleaching such a great way to add production where patients they bleach their teeth and then they want to change their composites or crowns because those stand out more. It's such a someone has a reunion coming up or a wedding coming up. It's such a great thing to offer. It's not covered by insurance, so it's out of pocket. So you're not dealing with the PPO fees. It's you're not playing by insurance rules or fees. Um, some patients I even just throw it in for free if they're on the fence and they're thinking about doing some cosmetic work. I'll even give them some home trays or an in-office bleach for free. Um, just curious, did you say your solution is hydrogen peroxide, and what is the difference between hydrogen peroxide and some other they use carbamide peroxide? Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. Carbon monoxide is a more stable version of hydrogen peroxide. So, and some people will be deceived by the number. They'll think, okay, you're getting a 21% carbamide peroxide gel. That must be really strong. 21, I guess the quickest way to factor that in is grab the carbamide peroxide and divide it by 3 or 3.5, and you'll get that equivalent into hydrogen peroxide. So carbamide peroxide 21% will be closer to what 6% hydrogen peroxide is. It's just a more stable way of having the peroxide itself, and it just requires an extra step to break into hydrogen peroxide, and then it'll do the work that it needs to do. But we use hydrogen peroxide for that same reason, because you don't have to go through that extra step. Extra step means more time. Carbon peroxide will typically require longer procedures, and again, that's that whole comfort level that we want to be able to provide. So although it is good to use carbon peroxide, it's the stable part is storage of the product itself. That's where some advantages are, but for us the advantages should be more towards procedure time, and hydrogen peroxide will be a faster way of providing the results that you're looking for.
Okay. Now, for the home bleaching, do patients need the light at home, or is that only an in-office thing?
Um, there is options for light, and we have an option for those as well. But again, um, the results are not going to be significantly different. It's more of a time, okay? Because the Blanquist home, you have 30 minutes a day with the 6% hydrogen peroxide, but we also have the Lux Bright, which has its own light, and it's a portable light. Our kit also uses 6% hydrogen peroxide, and you'll connect it to your portable device, and it'll turn on. And of course, it'll help with the procedure itself to be faster. The procedures with the Lux Bright are 15-minute sessions, but you're doing 2 a day. Okay, 2 15-minute sessions a day for 2 to 3 days, and you'll get very comparable results to what the home product is. But at the same time, we don't want to tell people, okay, it's going to be much better results. No, the factor, again, is in timing. Light helps to speed up the process. And so you're talking about, getting results faster. But again, we're not going to say that you have to require light. It is a good option. It is an option to help with procedure time, but both factors are going to work. It's just that with the light's going to be a little bit faster.
Okay. All right. Thanks so much, Arturo, for joining us. Again, go to Deals for Dentists, purchase one BlankQuest Pro in office. You get 5 patient whitening treatment kits, and you get 1 free whitening syringe with your purchase. And you can go to globodent.com or email info@globodent.com. Arturo, any final nuggets that you want to provide the dentists out there for any words of wisdom?
It's changing the perception of teeth whitening. Teeth whitening should be something to help bring your patients in, something that's more of a comforting experience for them, about sensitivity, get all that mind perspective difference. Just use bleaching and teeth whitening and Globodent products to help bring more customers to your own facility.
Yeah, I think adding it to your practice is such a no-brainer. It just brings in so much production, and it's a fun thing, and patients love it. Well, thanks so much for joining us, and let's be in touch and maybe touch base in 6 months or so and see if you have any new cool products out there.
We look forward to it. Yes, we'll be working towards that. Thank you so much, Eric.
Thank you.
All right.